Fifth grade, chapter 7, lesson 8, compare mixed numbers, factors, and products. Unlike the problem, when you can make generalizations about the relative size of a product when one factor is equal to 1, less than 1, or greater than 1. One way. Jan has a recipe that calls for 1½ cups of flour. She wants to know how much flour she would need if she made the recipe as written. If she made half the recipe, and if she made 1½ times the recipe. Shape the models to show 1 1/4 scaled by 1, by half, and then by 1½. So basically what we're going to do is the first one, we're going to shade in 1 full one, right? And then you guys are going to lightly do this since you're just using your pencil. And then how many are we going to break the next one into?
4.
4s. And then of those 4 pieces, how many are we going to color in?
1.
1. Okay, so what can you say about the product when 1 1/4 is multiplied by 1? So we know anything multiplied 1 is itself. So would it be equal to, less than, or greater than? Equal to. So the product would be equal to 1 1/4. Now what they want us to do is 1/2 times 1 1/4. So once again, we're going to lightly shade in 1, and then we need to break this into 4 size pieces, and then shade in 1 again. Now you guys are going to darkly shade since you have your pencil, and I'm just going to use blue. And then it says half. So basically, whatever they have already shaded, you're going to break it into half. And then you're going to shade that over again. What can you say about the product when 1 1/4 is multiplied by a fraction less than 1? So what will that product be? Is it going to be greater than, less than, or equal to, guys? The product will be less than less than 1 1/4. Now we have 1½ times 1 1/4. So they broke it into 1 times 1 1/4 plus half times 1 1/4. So for this first section, we're going to shade what? For both of these two sections on each side of the plus sign, we're going to shade it how much, guys? 1 1/4, right? So you're going to lightly shade them. One 1/4. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, on the first one, they said that they were just going to do 1 times that. So, would anything change on that first set of rectangles? No, because anything times 1 is itself, right? So, nothing's going to change there. Now, on the second set, you guys are going to have to darkly shade. And how much am I going to darkly shade?
1/2.
Just a half, right? So, I'm going to break this into half and this into half. And then I'm going to color this in darker, or I'm going to color it in blue since I have different colors. So what can you say about the product when 1 1/4 is multiplied by a number greater than 1? So what's our answer going to be this time? What's the product going to be this time? The product will be more than. and 1/4. Another way, use the diagram. Jake wants to train for a road race. He plans to run 2.5 miles on the first day. On the second day, he plans to run 3/5 of the distance he runs on the first day. On the third day, he plans to run 1 2/5 of the distance he runs on the first day. Which distance is greater? The distance on the day 2 when he runs 3/5 of 2.5 miles, or the distance on day 3 when he runs 1 2/5 of 2.5 miles. So it wants us to graph the point on the diagram to show the size of the product. Then complete the statement with equal to, greater than, or less than. So first of all, they want us to locate 2.5. So we're going to put a dot on 2.5. Then they want us to show when you go, so basically 2.5 would be from here, the 0 to this dot, right? Now we have learned that anything 2.5 times 1, you're going to, is that equal to, what is that? Equal to. So basically, anything times 1, I'm going to go from the 0 and I'm going to loop straight to there. So the product of 1 and 2.5 will be equal to 2.5. Then they want us to once again locate 2.5. And then of course, draw out our line. Now this time, they're only jumping in an increment of 3.5, or not 3.5, 3/5. Okay? So 3/5, how many tack marks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But technically, does the 0 count? No. Okay? So they want us to jump forward how many marks then? 3. So we would go 1, 2, 3, and this would be our new spot for 3/5. So does that 3/5 get us to leap clear to 2.5?
No.
No. So the product of a number less than 1 and 2.5 is less than 2.5. Now they want us to do 1 2/5 times 2.5 and then figure out where that would be. So we need to once again draw our line to 2.5. So 2.5 would come clear out here. Okay? Then our first leap would be what, guys? Our first leap would be at least 2.5, right? Because we have 2.5 in our equation. So our first leap would go to here. Now they want 1 2/5. So we know we have to jump another 1. So that would be at least until at least to the 3, and then would it be a little bit past the 3? Yes. So we would jump clear over to here. So the product of a number greater than 1 and 2.5 will be, so this first leap was what? Greater than, equal to, or less than? Equal to. Equal to 2.5, and once we did our next leap, it was greater than. Greater than the other factor. So what are we going to say? What number are we going to put in there, guys? So which one would have been the better one, the better distance? In the first question, they wanted to know which one they could get the greatest distance. So which one would have been the greatest distance? Would be multiplied by 1, 3 3/5, or 1 2/5?
1 2/5.
So 1 2/5 of 2.5 miles is a greater distance than what? Which would have been the least amount?
3/5.
So 3/5 of 2.5. Sharon showed complete the statement with equal to, greater than, or less than. So basically what we did was we took 5 6 times 2 1/5, and then we said that it would be less than 2 1/5 because we did our drawing. We lightly shaded in 2 full squares and then 1/5 of the third square, right? Okay. Then of that we shaded in, we darkly shaded in 5, 6, so we broke it into 6 different pieces and shaded in 5 of those horizontally. And then we still got less than. Now, another way that I have shown you guys is 1 1/5 times 2 2/3 will be something either greater than, equal to, or less than 2 2/3. So what do we see in common here? On both sides of that blank. 2 2/3, right? So what are we going to be looking at? The 1 1/5. So we have learned that if it is 1, that would be what? Equal to. If it is less than 1, then it would be less than. If it is greater than 1, it would be greater than. Now, a lot of you on your homework assignment the other day were putting more than and smaller than. Is that what you're supposed to put? No, you need to make sure you're using the right terms, greater than, less than. Okay? Now, so what do you guys think? 1 1/5 times 2 2/3, what do you guys think that would be? Greater than. Because 1 1/5 is more than 1. Now, if I was kind of iffy and I was like, man, I just really don't know what this could be, could I actually work out the problem? Yes. So I have 1 1/5 times 2 2/3. So we need to make these into what, guys? Improper fractions, right? So I put my little multiplication sign, my little addition sign. So 5 times 1 is
5
plus 1 is,
6
so 6/5 times, little multiplication sign, little plus sign. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is, so 8/3. Can I simplify before I start?
Yes.
Yes. This becomes a 1 and this becomes a 2 times 8 is 16. 5 times 1 is
5.
And then what would I get to simplify? 3 1/5. So is 3 1/5 greater than 2 2/3?
Yes.
So then that proved that I was right. However, if you already know what you're circling and then you can figure that out, then that's perfectly fine as well. Okay? But that circling is going to be your work, so I know what you're looking at. Okay? So now we have 4/5 times 2 2/5 will be something either equal to, greater than, or less than 2 2/5. So what do we have on both sides there? 2 2/5. So what are we going to be looking at? 4/5. And we need to decide, is that less than 1, greater than 1, or equal to 1? So what would 4/5 be? Less than 1. So our answer should be less than 2 2/5, right? Okay.